Alright, I'm back with Inland Disc Golf for the second 9 of the La Mirada Golden State Layout monthly. Again, it's taking a full 18-hole course, breaking it down into 9 holes. Right now we have Tommy Eckmann at 33, Robert Smith at 30, and Jeff Spohr is right behind them. Now this year's skipping 3 holes. So you're going to go down, it's over the hill and deep to the right. I think the roller is a great shot here, but it looks like Jeff didn't get his disc to actually stand up enough. So he ended up decently left. Saw the majority of people really just airing out a big hyzer shot. It's really difficult to get there in a drive. So you're just hoping to get a decent shot to be open for a approach shot to get your 3. We'll see if we can see where these end. So Tommy and Robot are both in great spots, and you can see that Jeff just never stood up and ended pretty far left. He should have an opportunity to get out of here. Can't quite see if he got hung up somewhere, or maybe we missed the skip. But I'm betting he probably got stuck up in some of those trees. Yeah, so maybe it was a little too low and caught some of the grass or got knocked down by the ceiling there. It's got a good approach shot. Shouldn't have any problem from there. There's a few shots in this 9 that ended up not being, I wasn't able to use them. So a few of them are edited out, but I did have a video of the scorecard, so all the scores should be correct. Now here, the drain that you can see going straight down the middle plays basically as a creek that divides the fairway. So from the tee pad you have to be left, and that's a great shot. Getting deep and being on the safe side with plenty of space to get to the basket on the right side. And I think we missed... Must have missed Robots. Oh, okay, so Robot throws an absolute crush. Maybe I had these out of order. That's just huge. He plays super safe, plays it straight down, and gets good amount of turn. He's able to get stable enough to be safe. Here, Jeff's just going to take his forehand approach shot, play it safe up, and you can see right behind his disc that he almost touched is another little drainage ditch that actually turns this green into an island. So the drainage ditch not only separates the left side, it also runs all the way around the basket here. Robot's really flirting with it. He ends up safe off of that though. Robot's putt uncharacteristically little low, little right, and so that's out of bounds. So he'll end up taking a penalty stroke. I believe Jeff and Tommy are walking up for their 3 putts. And Robot with his 5 with the missed putt and the penalty. So moving on here, this used to be an old regular hole. Now it's been split into 2 just for safety. You're throwing a gigantic hyzer bomb. You just want to be out there. You're not driving this one in 1. Very few people, I should say, would be able to get there in 1. And it looks like we had a little bit of a late release. We're not going to see this one finish, but he is safe. They're playing backwards against the same drainage little ditches, so that also designates this side as a fairway for this hole. Both of them ended up safe. And you can see it's quite a ways back over. Robot's taking the pro route and throwing it over the trees. It looks like Jeff's going to power it through, maybe trying to get a little bit of turn and navigate through some trees and hopefully get closer. Tommy's got a great drive. It's another one of those holes where you're not looking at a 2. You want to play clean. You need to have a good drive need to have a solid approach shot, and you just want to give yourself a chance to hit a putt for 3. Great upshot by Jeff. And we must have missed one of the shots from Robot. I'm not sure if that's where his second shot actually landed.
Good 3, Tommy.
Let's see. So, yeah, Robot and Jeff, both with those drives going a little further right, ended up with 4s. 13, it's another hole where you're skipping basically 2 holes. It's going to be out here on the left and up on the other side of the hill. Tommy throws a really cool shot. You're throwing a roller, hoping to keep it flush on the hill and then slowly standing up right there at the end to climb back up the hill. And he does it very, very well. That's a great shot. The other way is, throwing left. You're just trying to navigate through these trees, get some good distance, keep it low. And I think Jeff got a little bit of La Mirada love there. It's a pretty tight window.
Nice shot.
So Robot ended up getting stuck kind of in the same spot where Jeff was. They're going to have similar upshots. Not sure if you can quite see the basket yet. Oh, yep, it's right there. So yeah, just simple routine upshots for these guys. Tommy threw an awesome shot. He's probably a little past the pin, and he's just throwing uphill back into it. That's a really neat shot. Really cool roller. So no problem for these guys. Easy 3s. This is probably the most difficult hole on this layout. The second tree on the right is a mandatory left, and then you're throwing close to 800 feet out there. It's a very, very long hole, possibly a par 5. You really have to throw every shot really well. Leaves it open to throw a backhand hyzer route and keep it low again because the tree straight in front of you to get the skip. And then you want to be skipping back in bounds, and Jeff he's not high enough. Makes it really tough throwing that far. And getting it high enough and not getting too high where you could skip clean across the street, or clean across the fairway and into the street. So Jeff's third shot after the penalty, and there you see the problem. Really fast fairways. It's kind of dry out here right now with the drought in California, so just allowed him to skip all the way across. So Tommy and Robot are both going to have just really long drives. You can kind of see the basket out there. It's just it's another crush to get out there and then hope for an approach shot to get you in or just be close enough to take your 4. Here we go. Jeff's pulling it back together. He's getting a good drive back out towards the basket. Yeah, that's no problem at all for him. So you can see even with 2 really good drives, Tommy is still at the point where you're not really trying to jump putt at it. It's a long ways, super difficult hole. These guys are both just trying to get themselves closer, take their 3s. A 3 is a great score on this hole. Jeff. So Jeff just can't shake this hole off yet. A little bit high, a little left. Looked like he knew it before it even hit the chains. This is a regular hole. The first 2 trees off the tee pad play as double mandies. And it's not a very long hole, but you don't want to be throwing... you're not going to see a lot of people throwing drivers out here. You don't want to go deep. You probably have less than 20 to 25 feet behind the basket, and then there's the road. Robot's throwing a perfect shot. Tommy threw a great shot. Your biggest thing is just to get through the double mandatory and, hopefully be close enough for a putt here. And it looks like Jeff's shaking off a little bit of the dirt from that last hole. So Tommy with a great shot, still skips out, probably just outside the circle here. That's a great putt.
Nice putt.
Lots of chain contact. Looks like he hit the pole, dropped straight in. And Jeff makes good with his 2. Robot's still sitting underneath the basket, so that's 3 birdies on that hole. It's a great shot. This is also an old hole here. You're going to play all the way around this whole fence around the outfield. So I'm not sure if Tommy was trying to go over the top or if he slipped. This tee pad, it's a sidewalk, but it's extremely slick. This is another one of those holes you're just not going to get there in one. So they're trying to get yourself out there as far as you can. Hopefully not be tucked up against the fence and have a clean up shot. Jeff's taking a route you'd see a lot more normal. You're not throwing all the way up over the fence. Just throwing a power shot low, keeping it safe. Just expecting to throw a slightly further up shot, and that looks like he's probably pretty good out there. I believe this must have been one of the holes where we lost one of the shots. I think Tommy's already thrown. I think this is actually his 3rd throw, not counting the penalty stroke. Here's Robot for a second. Plays it nice and clean. Jeff ended up a little bit outside, a little further out than I thought he was going to be, and ends up a little short. Again, you're putting straight at a sidewalk, and you can see it's not very far, but that's Jeff's disc that's just barely inside. So Tommy, another great putt. This guy was putting well. All 18 holes of this, he putt very well. But Jeff, on the other hand, is very uncharacteristic for Jeff. Jeff's a great putter. You see, he doesn't really have a lot of swing. He kind of putts straight from his chest. He pushes straight out. Disc doesn't move super fast, but he throws on a very consistent line all the time. Hole 17's in a regular position. There's a mandatory left, and Robot, that's definitely wider than Robot wanted to go. So even throwing this shot here, you're throwing onto a downhill slope, so Tommy more than likely rolled out of that. And Jeff throws about the shot you would want to throw, doing a backhand to land flat and stick down. This is Robot for a second. And just putting it in. It's a pretty tricky hole. It's tough to throw a backhand or a forehand that are perfect shots here. So you can see Jeff threw a really good shot, cresting over the hill, played it smooth. His putt ends up a little short. But he left himself a little bit short, just getting through those trees and playing the mandatory towards the basket. So Tommy gives it a good run. Had a good line, just a little off to the right. And I got some shots mixed up with the scores. So this is the next hole. This is hole 18. So Robot's already driving here. So these are the scores from the last hole. You just got a sneak peek at Robot throwing the hole. 18's kind of tucked up long and left. So you can throw the turnover shots, or you can try to throw a big bomb over kind of straight out where you would need a little bit of turn. Another very, very long hole. It would take a super big throw and a long putt to be able to take a 2 here. Looks like Jeff got some good air on it. I think Tommy just threw it a little soft. Just a little low. Yeah, it's no problem for him though. It's one of those holes where if you have a less than perfect drive, you can really make up for it by just having a clean up shot. Robot gives it a really good chance. He's a little bit short, rolls out a little bit, so he'll have a little bit of a tester there. Jeff's just having a tough time today. Robot comes back. That's a big putt for the last hole. That's what we're used to seeing from Jeff Spohr. So that's your last 9. I got some of the scores incorrect somehow. I went back and I've made you guys wait long enough for the video, so I just posted the correct scores instead of going back and spending all my time editing. There's a playoff for second place right now with Robot and another local, Tom Juhl. Robot throws a good shot. Doesn't get any turn. Ends up farther left than you would want. Tom's a lefty, so this could be a little interesting. I think he throws a shot he wants. The wind's blowing right to left, and I think that just didn't let his disc get back up. He hit just on the other side of the sidewalk, and it kicked him back across. So he ended up safe. It was pretty close. They both had thought that they had first place walking up to this. Before the last cards came in, they were planning on splitting first and second place. Another card came in, beat them both by 1 stroke. So they decided to go out, battle it out, give us a little bit of a show. Now going on to what would be regular hole 3 or hole 2 in this Golden State layout. Robot throws a great shot. Wind's blowing left to right here, and there it is. If you can see his disc, gives it actually a run, gives it a good shot. Wind hit the belly of that disc, and it just lifted it far over the basket. He's probably looking at 40 plus foot range here, and just over the top. Kind of put himself in a pretty tough situation there, trying to run it on one of the shorter holes on the course, going out in a playoff. So this is Robot right here to take second place. That's no problem for him. That was really neat to be able to watch that playoff. I was able to catch up with them, got them both to do an interview. It's my first time doing it, so I hope this works out and gives you guys a little insight into what they were thinking. Alright, so we're here with Robot. Robert Smith ended up taking second, right?
Yep.
How did you feel going into that? You felt like you had first place before the scores came in?
Yeah, I thought I had it, and then one came in with 1 stroke better than mine, which I'm not mad about. I mean, I just jumped up from advanced to pro, so I'm feeling pretty good.
How do you feel going from AM to pro in Southern California with a lot of competition, borderlining AM and pro?
Feeling good. Definitely, there's some great AMs out there, and there's a lot of good pros from SoCal out here. And
you feel competitive in the pro division out here?
yeah,
Yeah?
I'm gonna be somewhere in the mix, shoot good,
Cool.
be up there in the top, try my best.
How was the playoff? Kind of describe on the first hole. Looked like on your first drive you kind of hyzered out a little bit, like you might have been in a little bit of trouble. Like Tom actually ended up meeting you a little bit on the left side.
Yeah.
So how'd you feel going into that second shot where you're looking kind of at an approach shot? Were you kind of running it or just trying to lay up?
Just try to lay up, take my 3. I mean, it'd be a great 2 to get, but to play it safe, take my 3.
Right. Okay, so when you threw, going into the second hole, which would be the regular hole 3, I mean, you pretty much threw the perfect shot, probably 15 feet out.
Yeah.
So you're about 15 feet out. Your competition's a lefty throwing the easier shot into it. Looked like you kind of caught some wind. Do you think you caught some wind, or maybe just threw a bad shot?
No, his shot definitely caught some wind. Just caught bad air bounce and just carried off right.
We look forward to seeing you a lot in the upcoming tournaments.
Can't wait.
All right. You have any sponsors you might want to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank West Coast Disc Golf and Innova Champion Disc for helping me out with all the good plastic I have. Thank you very much.
All right, cool. Thanks, Robot. Right, so you and Robert, Robot, both thought that you were tied, and you had decided to split, right? You were going to split the cash?
We were going to split first, yeah.
So you're going to split the cash, someone comes in, beat each of you by a stroke.
Stole it out from underneath right from underneath us.
Right, so you're both happy, both going to cash out, someone comes in taking it away from you. So when you went into the playoff, Robert threw first, kind of shanked it a little bit off left, got a little stable. How did you feel throwing your drive, kind of heading the same direction that he threw?
The wind's blowing right to left off the tee, and I didn't quite get the elevation I was looking for. I wanted to throw a right to left fade, but I ended up throwing a little bit low. So we both had pretty similar approach shots. We both put them right there for easy putt.
All right. So then going into the next hole, I mean, Robot basically parked it as good as you can for a righty going into that hole. It's very unfortunate. You threw a great shot, caught some wind, pushed you really hard.
I thought I was running it, and then it just...
He threw a great shot. You know, we obviously have it on camera. He threw a great shot and, yeah, just pushed out. So how did you feel going into your second shot? You're obviously feeling like you had to throw it, had to run it.
I knew I had to run it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and just missed that one too.
So what's the feeling for someone who's been playing for a long time when you have to run your second shot after you miss that? You know you have to gun the next one, right?
Done it so many times. It's just routine. It's like I try to visualize myself throwing it into my son's hands. I got a 5-year-old, and you know you got to have. He can't take a hard throw. He's got to throw it. You've got to throw it soft enough so his soft hands can catch it. If you think of it that way, you never really overpower putts, and you never have those long comebacks. But in this case, I had to run it. I didn't have a choice. Robert was 5 feet out, and I had like a 35-foot uphill shot. I had to do it.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for West Coast Disc Golf putting on a really good event. It was a lot of fun to be out there and play it. It was even better to be able to get out there and film some of these guys playing. So thanks a lot to Tommy Eckmann, Jeff Spohr, Tom Juhl, and Robot for allowing Becky to go out there and follow you around and get some really cool footage. We hope to do some more of this in the future. Coming up, make sure you pay attention to West Coast Disc Golf. They're planning on another La Mirada Amateur Disc Golf Championship in October 25th and 26th, I believe. So keep an eye out on discgolfunited.com and their Facebook page, and keep up to date with these guys. They're doing lots of good stuff for disc golf in California. Thanks.